Hi, welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses. I was just about to start working with Morisco today, and I was thinking about what we're going to do and how I see him. And it just made me think, because I also came across today. Now, this is a very famous quote. You've probably heard it from Wayne Dyer, which is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And what if we substitute the word horse for things? So when you change the way you look at your horse changes. So it's not to have preconceived ideas. It's one of the foundational principles is to always approach your horse in a new, with a new open idea every day, or not with an idea. A new open approach. So we're not expecting things to happen in a certain way. And, it has such a huge influence on our horse. So a couple of little stories, which is always the best examples. It made me think about it with Morisco because he looked really sleepy today. And, if I approach him, oh gosh, he's going to be hard work, and and I'm feeling a bit sleepy today, because that's the other thing, isn't it? I so often on clinics sit down with a group and ask them about their horse. And of course, normally I haven't, sometimes it's a repeat, but often I haven't met the person or the horse before. And it's so interesting that as they describe the horse, and I'm looking at them and thinking, oh, you're describing yourself. So how much of how our horse is are we bringing to the equation? So one little story was from a client I had on a clinic, and we were talking about a mare of mine, and she was quite a big, strong, chunky kind of mare, and you could look at her, and this is what I was saying. I said, you could look at her and assume that she's tough, and you would need to do a lot to get anything out of her. But actually, although she was this big, solid thing, she was very, 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 very sensitive, and hyper aware of every little detail. So this lady said, oh yes, we had a mare and that's it. And she was very masculine, quite whatever that means. And they said, so we bought her a pink head collar. And when we put the pink head collar on, she completely changed how she was. So I thought, well, I don't think the horse cares about the colour of the head collar, or maybe she thought, well, she can see us putting it on. Maybe they said, look, we've bought you a nice, pretty, pink, girly head collar. So, of course, it was the way they approached her. She said, oh, we all looked and said, oh, doesn't she look lovely? Doesn't she look pretty? So they were coming in with a softness that they didn't before. And, of course, the horse responds directly. They changed the way they looked at the horse, and the horse changed. And another one was an Arab mare I was working with. And the owner said to me, be really careful because she can get quite mean. She's really the boss with the other horses. She kicks, and she has challenged people in the field and tried to kick them. But they were absolutely approaching her like, watch out, it's dangerous. And I said to her, feel how your body is and how you're going in prepared. Now, of course, we have to keep ourselves safe, but we can keep ourselves safe by being observant and staying neutral and not assuming, oh, this horse is mean or vicious or whatever, And by changing how she felt, or just dropping that story about this mare being nasty, and approaching her with the softness, of course, being aware, then actually the mare did not get on the defensive and challenge us the way that she often had with the owner in the past. So it's really, they're so aware of what's going on with us, and it's amazing what we can create. Another example, I was out riding with a client, and one of my horses, who was quite reactive, he'd been a bit abused when he was younger, and as long as the rider was calm, he was calm. But he could get upset, and if the person was upset or especially fearful. So anyway, we were riding across a field and the rider turned around and said to me, "Oh, this is amazing." She said, "If I did this with my horse back home, he would take off." And literally the words were out her mouth and off he went. Now this horse did have a tendency to do that, but in this situation, we were all calm. There was absolute no reason, the other horses were still walking. There was no reason apart from that story she told and what that created in her mind and what that created in the feeling and anxiety it brought up that went straight into the horse. And off he went, like you could see the picture in her mind. It was quite... and although these things, when it happens, it's still like, wow. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. It's a really important thing, I think, always to remember, to question ourselves when we're putting any kind of ideas and behaviour and labels on our horses, and really to question, is that true? Is that always true? Is it me? Am I creating that? So anyway, thank you for joining us today. Marisco and I are going to get off and do a bit of work. What do you think, Biscuit? Hey, come, Biscuit. He's like, "Oh, gone to sleep over here." Come, there. You're going to come into the camera and say hello. Come on, Biscuit. Sure. There. Say hi. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Keep tuning into the light and we'll look forward to see you next time. Mwah.